Before we get started, I'll acknowledge some people here. This is town clerk. My name is Martin here. There's Mr. Alder standing, including Lisa Malone, Caroline Smith. Am I missing anyone? John Carlson, the DOP chair, Dave McConnell from the Democracy Fund, and everybody else supports too. And the name is Scott, we have the two candidates in warning office. And we have the Republican candidate, Andrea DeLito Zola. She's a local businesswoman who ran a meat bar and bridal shop on New York that become Little Dandelion Region Associated Cafe, where it's a lot of fun. She's also a cybersecurity student. And Ellen Kuplo is a senior administrator in the program for women and gender studies. And technology. Yes. And a volunteer organizing for 9 years. This is her third term. She's young in Alder. And they both come from families with long histories of civic involvement in the public voice passed along. Ellen's father was one time was organizing, which is nice here. And then great uncle is mayor of the city, the one of the last great gentlemen politicians. The rules of debate are to answer the question. Each candidate will take turns to field it first. It takes 90 seconds to answer, but we're not going to be hard about it. And then if after the second person goes, if something matches, if something to debate about the person, again, we'll have a lightning round at the end and then closing statements. So we're going to start out with a series of some of the questions are from the Independent, and some of the questions are from our leaders. We're going to start out with some questions about housing. So Ward 8 and its borders have been ground zero for the explosion of new market rate apartment complexes in town. Do you believe that the construction is helping the ward in the city? And as an Alder, what policy steps do you support to make your job? Why don't we start with Alder?
Thank you for the question, and thank you everyone for being here tonight. Very interesting, so many folks from the neighborhood. So I spent my summer knocking on doors and talking to hundreds of people about just this issue. So on East Street, Hayden Street, Court Street, Brown Street, everyone said that the number one issue facing our neighborhood in our city is our lack of affordable housing. So I mean, I'm just proud of the fact that I helped bring in $59 million, which is to be every year, to raise funds for pilot and to increase contributions from Yale. And I'm really looking forward to my next term, passing some bold progressive legislation on affordable housing. Building on what the board has already put in place in my tenure, so inclusion zoning, ADUs. We have increased resources for the User Rights Commission, and this year we legally recognized tenants. And so I think, we're facing a housing crisis. And I think we've got to grow everything we've got to tell them. And so that's fun to do.
The question is, what do you think about this explosion of housing? Is it helping the ward in the city, and is it Alder what's best to support to make sure that?
I think Alder, I would take a little bit of a different approach. Obviously, affordable housing is really important in New Zealand, and obviously in other cities as well. My focus wouldn't so much be on affordable housing. It would be focused on how traffic is changing in our ward. So, sorry. I've noticed that since there are more developments going up in the neighborhood, there's obviously less parking, and we're noticing more issues with constituents and what's happening with traffic regulation. So as an Alder, what I would do, I would also focus on parking because there's less parking, and I would also be focusing on the safety of our people. So I mentioned to the Yale Building meeting recently exactly that. I've had a few situations where my wife partner and I, we live on Thornton Olive, and we've actually bought a constituent, unfortunately, debt of our cars. And 6, 7 years ago, when these buildings were not up and my storefront was operating, I wasn't seeing things like this happen so often, but because there are more people in this ward and the ward is more populated, sorry, oh yeah, I'm noticing a need for more speed and traffic flowing because of the highway.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can everyone hear okay when both candidates are speaking? All right.
Well, who am I going to say?
The following, she said feedback on her. Oh, too far away.
I feel comfortable with Brandon.
All right, the next question to follow up is going to go to Oscar. Answer first. So now the food plant is currently making, is currently considering a proposal to demolish the 2 buildings and erecting 6-story houses at 873 to 897 grand. Where do you stand on the proposal?
I was actually one of the constituents to sign the form saying that I'm not 100% all for the development going up. And the reason that I am not all for this development going up, again, is because of the parking and the traffic. So when I did review details of the plan, which there have been very few details, they have not mentioned that they're adding a garage or not. And we already have little to no parking in our ward, so as of right now, I do have concerns about the building.
Good. So how do you think about it? So research and I know, so when I ran for the first time in 2018, one of my campaign priorities was development skill in the and I think I've learned a lot the last 4 years about what it takes to move things to the government, especially the zoning changes. So we talked a little bit about the process on the setting with Second Avenue. I know that the neighbors and I living on Main Street was incredibly involved, step by step. Things we learned about in spring, that this was going to potentially coming to that avenue. I have concerns about the height of the building. 6 stories is quite a lot. And they will pass shadows and I live on Main Street. But I will say that I'm really proud of the fact that folks are getting involved, they're testifying as participants in the thing, and they're very deeply involved in the process. I was really proud to submit a letter in support of this petition, asking and granting a public hearing as it's proposed to take place tomorrow night on Zoom at 7 p.m. and I encourage everyone to come.
Thank you very much. So there's a question about that stretch of Grand Avenue. When you go to an I-91, which is the neighborhood back in the day, it's downtown, it's on the firehouse. That's just the same neighborhood. It's had a long history and gone through a lot of changes. It's kind of deep now. And there's a lot of talk about what it can do, but that's part of it. So it's about Ellen. What's the vision of that stretch of Grand Avenue? More commercial, more residential, more social services, to be a new urban exist, to extend. And can you get the market to decide that, or should planners and neighbors decide what to build?
Thank you, Tom. I mean, breaking it back to affordable housing is the most important issue facing our city, and certainly for I think my vision for New Haven, not just for us, but my vision for New Haven is that working people have access to a good job, a safe place to live, and kind of dignity and comfort living in the city. And so, I think we need to be investing in affordable housing. Again, really proud of the fact that I helped bring in $69 million to the executive pilot, putting costs on your universities to contribute more of their gains to their taxes. To the New Haven, I'm excited to be able to allocate some of those dollars to deeply affordable housing and people all over.
The question is, your vision of our grant, commercial, residential, and should we as planners decide it, or should the market decide?
I think that it should be both.
Obviously, coming from a business background, it's very important that we have a good school. Obviously, if we're putting in affordable housing there, if that's what we decided on and everything is designed, I would hope that we would want businesses over there as well. We need more jobs for the people who are living there. So in my personal opinion, I would say six.
Okay, the tax extension on houses also. Thank you. There's a debate going on in New Haven that's also going on down here. And it's about how do you best create affordable housing. And it's not liberal against conservative. And both sides of the debate, where some liberals and conservatives are on one side, and there are liberals and conservatives on the other. And this is bill versus inclusionary zoning. Some people say we should have laws like we have in New Haven that require when new housing is built that some of it be affordable. The other side says that makes less affordable housing because then less gets built. And then if you just let people build as much as they want, that creates more supply and other rents are shut down. Do you have a position about whether you support build, or government action to ensure inclusionary zoning and affordable housing?
I would have to say build. And the reason that I'm personally saying build is because we're well aware that the city has a specific amount of percentage of affordable housing in each and every building that does go up in the city.
You saw them in California with the people usually on the same side of something that might get it in the I mean, are you build, or is the government ensuring affordable housing?
So this is using housing law. So the government was passed and changing everything years ago that was guaranteed that when developers come to the city, they must allocate a certain percentage to affordable housing. It's a very small percentage, but like I mentioned, in my next term, I want to focus on and really the task of the issues of housing crisis treatment and urban. So I think it's going to have to be raised. There will, I think that there will have to be one. You'll need to actually have zoning, and you can use zoning to think about our neighborhood to actually zone them in a way. Right now, for example, thinking about the Avenue. Right now, the proposal for the story building is as of right, because that's what is allowed in that state. If you were to change the zoning, right, on Grand Avenue, to have building heights at 4 feet, that is used through legislation from the
There goes the question about public safety. This question was submitted by Alder. Do the candidates support automated traffic enforcement? Specifically, you support red light cameras and you support speed cameras. Start with Ellen.
Thank you, Paul. I mean, I think that the one to acknowledge that someone's children have had a accident today, a biker, with a car, and so I think that the reality of things is that we have a serious issue with speeding in the Haven, we have a serious issue with, fatalities and injuries to young people, overload. So it's just time to cross the future. And I know that, both my mom, who's also a leader was somebody instrumental in passing the legislation after the level about these automated cameras. Again, I think, we have complex problems in this again. But, in essence, we have a global institution in our backyard, really basically, that doesn't meet problems solving. And so, when we talk about city services and we talk about funding things appropriately, it's totally how to do that without adequate funding. And so, yes.
Okay. So it was automatic traffic enforcement for red light cameras.
Yes, 100% I do. I support it for multiple reasons. Not only do we need it for our constituents to be safe, but we also keep our police officers and we really need to think about them as well. I had really been pushing public safety. Obviously, we're talking about things like going into cyber security and different public safety topics. It's extremely important that we keep everybody in our city safe, not just your state, but the entire state. So I think the city 100% should be investing in technology in general, and 100% traffic owners. Why would you say no? That's something that everybody should be saying yes to. Do you want your children to be safe? Yes. Do you want your partners to be safe? Yes. Do you want the police officers to be safe? Absolutely. I think it's a no-brainer. Yes. And I think it's really important that we are discussing these topics at events like this.
Very quick follow-up question, voting. What are cameras, technology? Cities invested heavily in surveillance cameras being used in crime fighting. It's clear, not to see crime. Do you support the expansion of cameras in the city of cameras in the city?
I do 100%, yes. Like I said, it's keeping constituent safe, but it's also keeping the police officers safe. And a regular question that's coming up every day for me, and it's usually really difficult for me to answer, is how do you get more police officers in the city and more police officers to work? If they feel safe as well, and they do have things like cameras, people will want to work for the city. So this is something that we 100% should be investing in.
The question is, do you support the expansion of video surveillance cameras owned by the city as a tool in law enforcement?
So this came across my desk, and I did vote in favor of implementing cameras, but I think it's incredibly important that if there is oversight, that they are not being used to target people. And I think that goes back to a public process with consistent, with members of leadership at the city level. And so yes, I do support it, however, with a caveat of safety and equity.
What was it? Do you agree with the way ward and the city of laws are being policed? And do you have suggestions for any different strategies or approaches to policing?
I think that word is a really safe place. I think it's a safe place because we have an incredible neighborhood, we rely on each other, and I think that, yeah, everyone knows, values and figure, right, on lists that I do have. And I think that, it's around credit to the folks in the force who work with him. We have a relationship with him. That is community policing. I would have to say I disagree, and I'm sorry to have to say that. Yesterday in the news, Christopher Ray openly said we're in a dangerous period. That doesn't just mean the U.S., that means every state in every city. Policing right now is so extremely important. You can go around and 100% sugarcoat things and say you can rely on each other, you have each other. Absolutely great. I can walk next door to my neighbor and I can ask them for a cup of sugar. Are we safe right now? When you see someone like Christopher Ray on the news say that we're in a dangerous period, we have to question that, and we need to make sure that we are policing and we are policing correctly.
I noticed that Board of Alder's president has been reported by his son up as the president is furloughed, and it's all been supposed to be the best of them. And I talked to him about anyone else. Welcome to the debate. The next question is support Christian Justice Society. So that with the overdoses of fentanyl and opioids. The book doesn't have an official proposal, but there's been a move in other states to have places where addicts can go in a supervised place off the street if they use drugs and have help with the overdose care if they want to go into treatment and be kept off the street where people have been complaining about quality of life. It's a controversial proposal. It's going to be debating it a lot. for the guest bar. And I guess I'd like to hear your thoughts about the proposal.
Obviously, I have had obviously a lot of, I've had a very strong opinion on this. I get posted about it often. I think I posted about it right before the primary or after the primary. And this topic is really close to my heart. I have advocated for someone who has been on the methadone program for basically their entire life. And when I approached them to have a discussion about the state injection site, their immediate response was, no, absolutely not. Not only did they say no, but they were deeply, deeply saddened by the thought of the state injection site. I have done hours of reading online to educate myself on the state injection site. Last week, during the mayoral debate, no one is giving accurate data and statistics. One thing that is extremely important to me as someone who's becoming a political thinker is to offer every single person accurate data. So as of right now, there are only 2 functioning safe injection sites. Those 2 sites are in New York City, and they are called an experimental project. Do I agree with experimenting on our people in our cities who are the most in need? Absolutely not. I don't agree with it, not just because I think it's wrong, but it's taking advantage of the people who need our help the most. And if it were to open in our cities, they should 100% be forced to work with the methadone program.
Thank you. I think you can go to, you want to talk about it. Is it just like pro or con or what?
Okay. Thank you. So, I know that some of the news, some of the ongoing work that's being done with the city and that, and I have a lot of faith that they will, move through this long process and figure out the best way to approach it. Right, because the opioid crisis, is enormous and it's another, it all goes back to revenue, right? That we need more revenue in this city to be able to tackle these enormous problems. I am in support of doing whatever it takes, but with through science, and with science, and science is like a very super yeah, I believe that we need to do whatever we can to address it. The fact that so many people have stigmatized opioids that are, bring people's lives. And I think that as long as the people is personal responsibility to help people, have a better life, have a living dignity and access with the services they need to address these enormous issues.
There's been discussion in town about people with addiction or other reasons they don't want to go to homeless shelters or there's no room for shelters, they don't want supportive housing. You think like other cities face the question about what to do with people who want to set up homes in public spaces. And now there's the question of whether these tiny houses, 50 to 100 square foot, shelters being erected with indoors and not freezing, just driving out the access house if they're all the city authorities have to take them down. What responsibilities do you have to allow people to either camp out or have these free shelters? And what's your position on what we need to do about that?
But I just want to take a second on the work part you mentioned that Mark and the Oval have done in the past. I think it is probably loving and there's quite an amount of humanity. But humanity is used by this bureaucracy. And I think this is back to the fact that we don't have enough affordable housing in the state. If you had more people in local housing, if you had the house folks, I'm really proud to remind you about the days and conversion him on homeless shelter, and across my desk, I'm sorry for legislation for the municipal Alder And being able to move that forward, I think is again, one piece of this very large puzzle.
Thank you. Can the tiny houses and backyards in the neighborhood of maybe beautiful publishers?
I would have to say that I do not agree with the way that Kent City was dealt with. I think it could have been dealt with a little bit differently. I do not think Kent City was a good idea, but could it have been torn down to where it was? No. I think that the city did lack empathy with the way that they did go about tearing down the Kent. Do I think the small houses are a good idea? Absolutely, it's a really nice thought and it's a really nice thing to do. But at the end of the day, I have to agree with Ellen, and I do think that things need to be done properly. And if that means they do have to go through the city, they should be going through the city.
Thank you. And just second, and everyone can hear okay in the back? All right. Next question is, do you agree with the removal of the Columbus statue from the square and the design of the replacement?
Since I've been on the committee, absolutely I agree with the new design. I think it's absolutely beautiful. I think the artist who's on every single Zoom call is doing an absolutely amazing job. I was all for the removal of the Columbus statue. I was very beginning to take it down. My question for everybody here and everybody in the city would be, where does this Columbus statue go next? And I brought it up to some different people. From what I understand right now, it's just being held somewhere with Parks and Rec. But I do think that our statue should be somewhere like the museum or one of the museums and not just tucked away in the public center.
Thank you.
So, yes, I would very much support the Columbus statue coming down. I was actually appointed to the legislature on 37 there. And I think that, Bill Ryan, I think that I have to do a really excellent job. I was there, that morning, in June of 2020. And I saw the absolute worth of humanity. And I think that, right, we all know that Christopher Columbus did not have, he was a figure. He is not the person that people think that he is, right? And I'm incredibly proud about that. We're going to have something new in this world that really does tip a hat to the immigrants, to folks who came into this country, my grandparents, my great-grandparents, were immigrants from Italy, and so I'm glad that we are moving away from incredibly problematic figures and moving much more towards community.
Outside of the square park, maybe not even in the square park, what's your favorite part in the ward?
I think my favorite part in the ward is the tennis court. And folks might not realize that is a part of it. There's a park, it's a public park in the region. And I love it because, when I first moved to my first apartment, I was at 120, and the farmer's market is the huge there on the corner. And it was a place where, on Saturday morning, you could always run into your neighbors and come to your friends. And now that I've been in my grandkids for the last 5 years, my husband and my two children, and now the tennis court has kind of evolved, and it's become a place where I've run to neighbors, and then to the future. It doesn't have to just be around the farmer's market and better, you know, the tennis court.
What's your purpose?
There is a children's health directly across the street from my shop. I have been in that space for about over a decade at this point. And my daughter is now 6 years old. So she's grew up going to the children's park on the street. So when I think about my favorite park, that would be my favorite park. We still go there often. And I've noticed that everybody's visiting, whether they're at Peppi's or Farley's or Janelle's, they go directly to the park to take pizza. So I feel like that park brings so much joy to everyone.
My favorite part of that is the Dungeon Park. And it's beautiful revival of that park. And you know, there was an issue there about Dungeon there that was removed because of people speak about it. Oh, is that right? Oh, there was a... Okay. Yeah, thank you. How do you navigate that issue? How more broadly do you navigate the demands of space and rewards of social growth?
Are you focusing directly on the...
And then the park itself and more broadly the space of helping people to that and maybe feel that's not good for the park and they want to clean the park. How do you negotiate that with all this?
As far as your children?
Like whose park is it?
I mean, if a park is a park, everybody should be welcome there. Whether it's everyday constituents or people visiting from outside of the city. Would I remove benches because how many people are sitting on them? Absolutely not. I would offer them food and ask them if they have cell phones.
And now remember it's the park and really just put the red wrong next to the middle so people want to see it anymore. So Ellen, let's do that thing on that.
Yeah. Thank you, Paul. I think, again, great, the fact that we have social bars and house preservation is absolutely because we don't have enough affordable health in the city, right? If folks had a safe place to go, they would be there. And so that is why I'm absolutely committed in some points to explore and pass those progressive legislation and global health to be sure that those kind of spaces are there.
Ward 8 is just clear, they didn't know. We also include parts of Fairhaven, Little Park Annex, and those two wonderful mini districts of Fairhaven that are also at Jocelyn Square, which butts up against what's becoming called Mill River. What's your vision if you all went for House, Jocelyn Square, and Mill River? Development coming in.
Thank you, Paul. So there was a planning study done in 2016 about districts where that included a vision that I said for connecting Johnson for Mill River Crossing and West Virginia. I think one thing that I'm so incredibly proud of is in 2022, just about a month before I gave birth to my daughter Ada, I organized and worked with neighbors around Johnson Square Park to do their strip clubs out of my neighborhood. They wanted to build a strip club within a couple of homes on Wall Street. I'm an organizer, I organize their will. And being able to be in the community, understand what they wanted, and what kept them safe and made them feel safe, and I think that community is wonderful. And so, yeah, I'm committed to being the organizer, letting people in and getting them what they want in their neighborhood and what it will be.
Amy, you have thoughts about the future of Johnson Square and Mill River?
I do. So I actually had a business right on right before I found the lease at my storefront on Shirley Worcester. And I've been trying to keep up as much as possible with what is happening in that area. And I think if I'm correct, a dispensary is coming in pretty soon. So I think that it would be nice to see regular spots in different businesses and not only focus on things like dispensaries and make sure that there's something there for everybody.
Is there a law that you smoke stop in every state law? I thought there was a law that you want. Okay, so that was different. That was kind of interesting. We looked at, this bill, Farnham Court, which will take a lot of people going up. Go behind Mill River, which is mostly industrial, and there are a lot of families living there. So you took 2 blocks in the other direction, and there were a couple of systems that were there forever. So where, if anywhere, is this going to be allowed in here?
I don't know. Even company more at this point. I saw so many businesses get shut down during COVID that didn't reopen. So I think I would probably answer that a little bit. I think when it comes to how we are constructing a neighborhood, right, like as we're thinking about gun changes, our gun changes, neighborhood, I think the thing about them is that we are, that people, that the residents are involved in the process, that there are enough public hearings to get people in the door to be able to actually weigh in on what's happening, and how their neighborhood is taken. I think, no River Carson, is beautiful, but it's so wonderful to see, some Chestnut Drive and the Royal Drive, right behind the building, have these beautiful new developments that folks can live in and really take, yeah, and advocate for it.
So talk about some future really cool that part of Cleveland housing, don't have like a whole street down there. One place that hasn't changed for a long time is Cleveland City. Still the polluted, vicious mess, like the one that's been forever. What can be done with it in the house to make that happen?
I would think that first and foremost, I want to, I guess, give a shout out to, Attorney General William Hong, for really coming down hard on UI and business that they pay us for all of the environmental damage that is done to the station. And I think before we can even talk about what we should do with that space, I think that it needs to be remediated, there needs to be aspects of, trustworthy, investigations of the plans, of the water, and so I think first and foremost, there's got to start, utilizing the plan.
Talk about the future in the city.
Honestly, that whole section really reminds me of Long Island City, and I would like to see it work so much more where there are new apartment complexes, there are businesses, and we are using it. We keep talking about needing affordable housing, so you know that we do have new business.
Thank you. Who is your political hero or role model and why?
Oh, wow. Am I saying that? I'll let you go first. Sure. That is easy. Rosa Deborah came to my third grade class at Duncan Section, and I will never forget, working up to her as a pioneer woman, who is in Texas, unbelievably powerful, and for traveling publications, last year. And I remember, and I'm totally proud to say that Rosa is a dear friend, someone who I had the chance to bend your ears, talk about legislation, talk about issues on your survey. And I think in a way, I'm really lucky that I have had the opportunity to work with qualified others.
You don't have to answer if you don't want.
No.
You don't have to have a hero.
So I think my favorite politician is the Constitution President. Would have to be John DeStefano. That might be really relevant to people. I know that a lot of people do mention my great uncle often when they talk about really amazing mayors and what they had done for the city. But growing up, I also remember John DeStefano coming into every single class, whether it were first grade, second grade, or third grade, and each year he would do a science experiment with us, and that's just something that I think I will remember for the rest of my life, and I think that he was a positive force in the movement and a great politician for the country.
Thank you. And then following on the idea of political models, Ellen, you describe yourself as close to progressive Democrat, and you use the word bourgeois Democrat. What do those phrases mean broadly, philosophically, but also how do they apply to the local issues that you deal with in Alder?
Sure. I will go first. I think my journey has probably been one of the most interesting journeys for a political candidate in a really long time. I think before I decided to accept my endorsement with the Republican Party, which I'm very proud of my endorsement with the Republican Party, I would have considered myself a blue dog Democrat, which would be a more conservative Democrat. I mean, I definitely was more liberal in the past, and I think as I got a little bit older, my views have changed, and I would say that I have chosen the Republican Party for that reason, but I would not consider myself a blue dog Democrat any longer. I would call myself a Republican.
And you want to follow up for comment? What does that mean?
At this point, someone who built up in my role today, because I think there's only two of us, obviously there's more Republicans than two Republicans, but I think I'm probably the first person who's endorsed to openly say that I'm a proud Republican, and I can openly say to be one of the only people endorsed saying that they're proud takes a really brave person, and I hope that that bravery can help other people take the stance and say, I am being a little bit more conservative, and if I am going to be insulted over it, or someone is going to have a different point of view, oh well, we could agree to disagree.
Thank you. I would like to leave you address the Democrat. I would like to leave you
I don't think the Democrat, the IC mentor from Montana, I want to advocate for the rights of Montana folks. I think being a potential Democrat means that you are active in your community, in your neighborhood, and that you're pushing for policies that benefit working people, like people affordable housing, ensure everyone has a good job in the city, and making sure that opportunities for our youth for them to be at the program as well outside of school. I do want to say that it is not a moral choice to choose the Republican Party right now. The Republican Party is the party that is denying same-state healthcare. It is the party that denies climate change. It is the party that held an insurrection at the Capitol, but none of that is moral. And I know that the Democratic Party is not without heat or issue, but I'm incredibly proud of the fact that I've been a Democrat all my life, and I will. And that we are the party that uplifts women, that we are centered on racial justice, economic justice, and climate.
I'm going to stand for this comment. Yes, thank you. We want to respond to the question about is it amoral to the party that owns Enterprise is not supporting trans rights or the insurrection on the Capitol?
So my question for you is, and this is a question for a lot of other people who really consider themselves hardcore Democrats, because obviously I'm coming from a more liberal background as well. As someone who is very, very open-minded, why are you not accepting and more open to people becoming Republicans who do have similar thoughts as you? Wouldn't you want our party to become more progressive and progressive? I'm 100% for women's rights. I have always been. I have a 6-year-old daughter. I would never want to take away her rights. Why wouldn't you want a Republican in place who has similar outlooks as you?
So what the question is, I think the question is, but we,
No, this isn't your time.
So the question is-
So black or blue, we should believe in whatever.
so someone has to say this was amoral to the Republicans.
No, what I'm asking you is, you say that you're very open-minded. That's what you're telling this entire room. Why are you open-minded to an endorsed Republican running? Why are you saying that I immediately am not choosing the moral thing to do?
So why is it not moral?
On the Dale Disney as well. I read what you
So why is it not moral to run as a Republican?
Thank you. I do not understand my position. And I'd like to pose to you. Politicians, can you sit down, please?
The question was, why is it immoral to run as a Republican?
I mean, I think that the same thing is on the before. The Republican Party currently,
The Democratic Party is currently failing all of us.
so the Republican Party,
I am right. I'm 100% right.
the Republican Party is the party that endorses taking women's rights away from them to choose what Habitable
And
body.
I'm a Republican and I did not take away women's rights.
The Republican Party is also the party of, again, denying climate change, taking away trans kids' health care. It is a party of pro-life and making sure that women don't have an abortion. The Republican Party is currently, there is a global movement to try to ban abortion nationwide that is led by the Republican Party.
So why wouldn't you want a woman in place who is a Republican who would not do that?
So it sounds like you're asking, can you be a Republican? Can you be a Republican?
No, I am a Republican and I don't do that.
Tell me that. Right now, up to 3 words per question. Yes, no, or 3 words. First question, go first to Ellen. Italian Heritage Day, Indigenous Peoples Day, or Columbus Day?
If you say women. Okay. 3 words.
What do you support it to be called Italian Heritage Day, Indigenous Peoples Day, or Columbus Day?
I support it being called Indigenous Peoples Day and Italian American Heritage Day.
I would say Italian American Heritage Day.
Yes, you know, you support the proposed.
Yeah.
All right. You support, oh wait, yeah, who won the 2020 presidential election?
Joe Biden.
All right, okay. Your favorite place to buy pizza?
Salad. That's
Favorite place to buy pizza?
It's fine.
All right. You support government tuition vouchers for private and parochial schools?
Yes.
And my final question, which is about 1 to 3 words. Tell me something positive, something you admire or respect about your opponent.
I admire and respect that Ellen is a great mother. She has openly admitted that she is not able to fund for at least 55% of her years. That I totally agree that a good leader is honest and they choose being a parent before they choose anything else. So my response is she's a great mother. Thank you.
So I just want to be very clear. I gave birth to my daughter Ada on April 10th, 2022. I took a couple of weeks off to care for my newborn. I was back in Chambers in June of 2022. In July, I was appointed to chair of legislation, and I'm incredibly proud that during that time, we were moving away from legislation on affordable housing, on opportunities for youth, and for good adjustment living. And I'm proud of the fact that I've done that while being a full-time employee of Yale University and being a mom and two.
Tell me something you admire and respect about your opponent.
I respect the fact that Andrea is really, I think, trying to make something beautiful happen on the street, by joining her campaign.
Now we got final statements.
Sure, I'll go first.
Okay, you got 2 minutes.
I agreed to do this today because I was under the impression that Ellen would be mature enough to accept me and that we would have empathy as women and we would go into this with open minds. I came here very happy to say that I am a proud Republican
And I am genuinely hoping that the city can come together, and I'm not talking about unite here, because the majority of people that are here for Ellen don't live here. They're for local organizers. Our board needs more than her union. We need positive change, and we are not going to see that until you elect new officials. And my question for Ellen is, how many people did your union offer jobs to from Ward 8? What are your statistics? I'm curious.
Use the final statement.
I think you want a final statement. I would like you to answer that. You have your whole union here. How many people here live in Ward 8? And how many people did you offer
So
jobs?
Ellen will be able to respond in her final statement. She still hasn't done any contact for while you're running.
I am running because I want to create change, and I would like to break the city's bond of the local 34. New Haven is not the local 34. There are people who are living in our city who are destitute. They are not being offered jobs at Yale, and they are not being offered jobs with the local 34. Those people matter, and they are important. That's why I would like to be elected, because I care about those people.
Ellen, you have 2 minutes to talk about whatever you have to talk.
Cool.
Okay, so, my name is Ellen Kupo. I was born and raised in Haven. I was a first grade in this building. I am the mom of 2 kids, and I want to raise them to the Haven. But there's structural issues to our city, right? We have a global institution that does not take property taxes, which ends up the tax burden falls on our residents, our renters, our homeowners. I am fighting for good jobs, affordable housing, and opportunities for youth. I think investments in programs like Youth at Work, like are going to be changing in terms for our kids. I'm incredibly proud of the fact that through the work that I've done, both in my union and in the city, we have the local 34 has actually always had a commitment to in every contract we've ever had. And I'm incredibly proud of the fact that in the last contract in 2021, we got Yale to agree to hire 40 people a year who are Haven residents. Yeah, thank you.
How many people from Ward 8 did your local hire? What are the data and statistics? You don't have that.
Local 34 doesn't hire.
This is New Haven, not local 34.
Okay, I'd like everyone to let Ellen finish her final statement.
So yeah, affordable housing, good job, opportunities for youth. It's what I focus on. I want to raise my kids here, but I'm practically going to close out this neighborhood. And so I think we, I want to make sure that folks who are from New Haven can stay in New Haven. I want to make sure that we have programs that our youth can participate in, give them a better shot at the lives that they want. And yeah, I mean, this is my life. Like, this is what I do. I'm an organizer. I'm a community organizer. I'm a union organizer. And I'm incredibly proud of the work that I've done. And I want to build on it. But in my next term, I want to pass legislation that is bold and progressive and actually get this issue of the housing crisis in New Haven. I want to invest in programs like Youth at Work. Okay, and yeah, I was born here, I was raised here, I want to raise my children here. I want everyone's children to be able to see here and have a high quality life.
Let's a round of applause for this day and age team. In this day and age, we're going to face each other and face the public and face the voters before going to polls. I want to thank both Ellen and Angie for participating today. Election day is next Tuesday. We got enough people here to vote. A lot more people knowing the mayoral debate. Thanks a lot for showing up.
I was giving a shot.